Hello there, this is Will from Stacks for Stacks, and in this video today I'm going to be presenting to you the recently updated Switchr stack which I'm releasing. Switchr was previously developed by StackManiac. As of 1st of August I've taken over ownership and management of all StackManiac stacks. So Switchr is one of the stacks which I've released an update for. This update is completely free of charge for existing users, so if you have previously purchased the Switchr stack, just get in contact with me with some form of proof of purchase, payment receipt, anything like that, and we can issue you with a coupon code to obtain this latest version, which I'll be demonstrating today. There's a lot more information about Switchr on the website, which is stacksforstacks.com/Switchr. So I'm using RapidWeaver 6 today, Stacks free, and my blank RapidWeaver theme from themeflood.com. I've just gone ahead and put in a basic Switchr stack into the page, and you can see we've got a couple of what's called Switchr items. Now, Switchr stack basically comes in two parts. You've got the main Switchr stack itself, and you've got various options on the right hand side here to customize behavior and display of the Switchr stack. And then within Switchr stack you've got these individual Switchr items, which are your individual tab or accordion panels, and it's very easy to add new items. You just want to click on the blue button at the bottom here, and that will put in a brand new Switchr item. You can give it a title. We can change the font awesome icon of it. For example, car. Item title goes here. And then you've got the choice to put any content you want into where it says drop stacks here. So I can open up my library, and in this example I'm just going to put in a simple text stack, like so. And the beauty of this new editing interface is I can very easily click and drag to reorder my items around so they can appear in any order within the tab or accordion layout. Likewise, I can select an existing item, I can press the Alt key on my keyboard, click and drag, and I can actually duplicate items really quickly. So this means you can actually come in at a later date, you can put new items in, you can take old items out, you can change the order of items, and it's a very nice flexible stack from that perspective. So like I say, basic Switchr stack in the page, not much to look at here, but if I preview the page now in RapidWeaver, you'll see we've now got ourselves a very basic accordion layout. An accordion, as you might know already, basically have these headings or toggles, and when you click or tap on them the panels of content slide open and close. And you can see we do that very elegantly here with this sort of simple two-step animation process, whereby one pane fades in and another pane fades out, and by actually splitting it into stages like this you'll find the animation is much smoother, particularly on lower powered devices like the iPhone and iPad. Of course, an instant benefit of using the Switchr stack is that it's basically two stacks in one. We've got the option of an accordion like we've got on the screen in front of me now, but equally so if I open the settings I can switch this layout to tabs, and you'll see that tabs display the headings at the top here which I can click on, and our panels of content display immediately below each tab. Tabs are great, they're nice to look at, but one problem, and this is particularly true of many other tab stacks and plugins available for RapidWeaver, is that historically they don't display particularly well on smaller mobile devices like the iPhone. You can quite often end up in situations where you've got multiple tabs sort of spanning multiple lines, and it doesn't look particularly nice. It's not particularly pleasant for people to navigate on smaller screens. So we've actually got the breakpoint option here, which in this case is set to 568 pixels, and the breakpoint just means that below that screen width we'll revert our tabs layout automatically to an accordion again. And to demonstrate that, if I change RapidWeaver preview mode to iPhone, you can see although we've still got tabs selected in the Switchr settings, it's actually reverted to this very nice elegant accordion layout. And I'm sure you'll agree with me that people, particularly on smartphones and other smaller touch-based devices, will find this a lot more easier to navigate and to use. So that solves the problem of responsive tabs quite nicely, really. So I'll just revert my changes again and put RapidWeaver back to normal previewing mode. and I'll walk you through a couple of the other settings which we now offer in Switchr. Possibly when you come to Switchr for the first time you might find it a bit daunting, all these settings available to you. You know, there's some pretty lengthy groups of settings available, but we do provide, if you roll your mouse over them, tooltips displayed for about what each one does, and typically you won't need to change all these settings. It might only be a handful of settings to be changed. So in the instance of the accordion here, if I wanted to change, for example, the style of a header, I could come in here, and this is where I could apply things like rounded corners. So I can go ahead and do that now. I can do 10% or 10 pixel rounded corners on each heading. So you can see they are rounded quite nicely, and we provide independent control for the static accordion headings and the active ones. So active are basically ones which are open, like this item 1 is open now, and these other 3 here are closed, so these are the static ones. But if I change that, you can see if I click on it, that reverts to an active one. And this does open up a lot of creative possibilities. It gives you a lot of power to customise the appearance. So for example, if I wanted to make this accordion, make it a bit more rounded, I could come in here and I could start by adjusting, for example, the content panel background. So I could just make this a darker grey colour, something like this. I can change the text colour. Let's make that white. Let's make the corners rounded. So we'll target in content radius, and we'll go for bottom right, make those 10 pixels, bottom left 10 pixels. So we've rounded the bottom of the accordion panel now, the content panel. And if we just go back now to the accordion heading, and I will set the active radius top left to 10 pixels and top right to 10 pixels. So that gives us this nice rounded box effect for each of our items. You can see that that works very nicely. You can get rid of the sort of toxic purple colour quite easily. Just come into the settings, header fill we can change. So we can make this a nice blueberry blue colour, and again we can have our active panel, perhaps a different shade of blue. Let's find something suitable. Yeah, so you get the basic idea. Obviously you can come in here and change these settings as much as you want to sort of get the effect you want, and that all works very nicely. This latest version of Switchr, of course, we've done away with the idea of preset themes. You no longer have a drop down menu of predefined themes to choose from. I think they were labelled previously as skins. This version now, you come in here, it's completely, you've got complete freedom to do whatever you want, style this however you want, and there's a lot of different options available to you. You could certainly style these accordion panels to look like foundation collapse panels, or the accordion but the bootstrap or foundation, any of those sort of open source frameworks already provide. You've got options of borders, backgrounds, you've the whole lot really. You've got a lot of scope to customise. And of course this customization doesn't just apply to accordion layouts, but we can apply the same to our tab layout. So if I was to, let's go back to basic settings and switch our Switchr to a tabs layout, you can see we've gone back to the sort of purple colour, but our content panel, because we've changed that already at the bottom here, that's picking up on the white text and the grey background. We can leave those settings as they are for the time being, but likewise I can, let's close the toggle the accordion heading. So we've just got now the tab style settings open. I can change the width of these tabs if I want to. I can make them a bit more narrow if I want to fit more tabs up here. I can actually change the alignment of the tabs, so I could actually have them centered, or I could put them over on the right hand side if I wanted to create a more specialised effect. Put them back to left for the time being. Tab width is specified in percentages, and that's calculated as a percentage of your container width. We can change things like the font size, the icon size, the line height. I can change the padding if I want to, and the margin. So what I'll probably do in this instance is just to make this correspond perhaps with styling a bit more to our tab panel. So I'm going to change, let's see, we'll put our active tab to that nickel colour again, and I think I'll give, let's see, we'll give the active tab a radius at the top of say 20 pixels, and the same on that one. I think I'll introduce a bit of margin between them, so at the moment it's 1 pixel, but I think I'll go for 10 pixels, and we'll round those remaining tabs a bit more, so they'll be static tabs, there's static radius here, so I'll just say, I'll say 5 pixels on those, just to give them a little bit of rounding. I know what, let's say 10 pixels on those. So that's starting to look a bit better already. So yeah, I mean, you can come in here, you can change all sorts of things. Again, I can go back to the content panel, and we can just round that top right hand corner a bit. So we'll give that a radius of 10 pixels, like that. And you can see quite quickly, you know, you can come in here and you can create a very nice tabbed or accordion interface with almost complete unlimited freedom to style it however you want. There's a lot of options available to you. Again, I can customize things like the padding applied on the content panels. You know, there's various different embellishments you can come in and change. Final feature I want to show you today is support for detached accordion headings. It's quite a clever feature. What I'm going to do is to put in a new Switchr stack into my page, like so. I'm going to make sure that this one is selected and just put it to an accordion layout, and then I'm just going to recycle some of this old text out of the old Switchr stack, so this will become a new instance. I can delete the old Switchr stack. I can do that little trick again where I select each item, hold down the Alt key, and quite quickly duplicate, set up the items we want. And if I preview the page, there's our basic accordion again. But it may be desirable to have a sort of a vertical tabbed interface, or a vertical accordion, and this is something now which is feasible to do in this latest version of Switchr. So what I can do is go back into my stacks library, and I'm just going to use a completely standard 2-column stack from stacks. We'll set its width to, let's see, we'll just split to about something like that, Switchr stack I'm going to drag and drop into the left hand column, like so, and then our right hand column I'm going to put an HTML code stack in there. Close the library, and then with the Switchr stack selected, I'm going to scroll all the way down here to the advanced settings, and I'm going to check this clone accordion headings option, and it shows us a little box of cloned to, and we've got a hashtag and then a sort of a my div. That's just referencing an ID in the page, so I can copy that, for example, and then up here in our little code box, if I was just to put in a new divisional container, so do opening tag, closing tag, like that, divisional, and then I'll give this an ID attribute with a value of my div, like so. Again, in edit mode, not much to look at here. However, if I preview the page, you'll now see we've got something slightly different happening. We've got our item titles, or our accordion toggles, on the right hand side here, and our panels of content over here on the left. Now this probably isn't a really good example because I can see I didn't change the numbers of the content types. I'll just put these right so we've got a better illustration of what's going on. However, if I preview the page again, you see our accordion headings on the right hand side and our contents on the left, and I can actually click on these tabs, these headings, and our content is changing as expected. And this opens up a lot of possibilities, of course, because you can now move your accordion headings or your tabs, call them whatever you want, into a theme ExtraContent container or into a sidebar. I mean, we could go ahead and we could have a play of this straight away now. So if I was to apply, let's apply my black and white RapidWeaver theme, and I will just put the switcher back into the main page area outside of this column stack. I will copy my code there, delete the column stack, open up the RapidWeaver sidebar. I'm just going to paste my little ID straight in there, and when I preview the page, this is using the black and white theme, and let's just get rid of that inspector. Yeah, as you can see, it's working perfectly. We've got our content box in the middle of the page here. I can click on the items at the side here in the sidebar, and our content is toggling beautifully well. So this is just a really nice little bonus feature of a brand new Switchr stack. This ability to detach the normal accordion headings from the Switchr stack itself and place them elsewhere in a page. And this technique is applicable to a sidebar, as I've got working here, or it could be an ExtraContent container or a FreeStyle theme banner container. And a nice little trick with this system is I can actually still go ahead and change the style settings of these accordion headings. Let's see what we've got open. If I just close a few of these. So we want to open the accordion heading, and if I was to change the active one to this sort of headache pink, preview the page, and you can see straight away that's taken effect over here quite nicely. Very simple, very effective. So I hope you can see, this is just a very quick illustration of what the Switchr stack can do. Massive amount of potential in this new stack. It's very powerful with a lot you can do with it. This is just a very nice illustration of the sort of things you can do. I'd definitely recommend you download the free demo version and spend a bit of time playing around with it. It's very safe to install the demo version. You just have a watermark at the bottom that just says demo version, but that will give you the ability to play around with all these settings. And particularly if you are, an advanced RapidWeaver user, you're building much more complex page layouts, I feel the Switchr stack would be absolutely ideal for people like yourself. We have, for example, support for embedded video, so you can actually put video or audio within your items, and when somebody toggles the switcher, any audio or video which is already playing will actually stop. You don't have this problem of toggling tabs, stuff still playing that you can't see. So we've got quite a lot of intelligence going on like that inside the stack, just to make your life a lot easier as a designer, and so that hopefully you can build some really nice, powerful switching layouts, either with accordions or with tabs. And as I explained at the start of this video, the beauty of Switchr stack, it's two stacks in one. You've got the choice of either accordions or tabs, and on smaller devices your tabs will become accordions. So it's perfect really for a lot of people. I hope you found this video of help and of interest to you anyway. Should you have any questions about the new Switchr stack, then do feel free to let me know. I always love to receive emails and feedback and answer everything as quickly as I can. And I look forward to hearing from you again soon.